Hey guys, welcome back to the Not Only Carrots cooking show. I'm Leah and today I'll be showing you 4 different ways to slice your homemade bread. Let's get started. Sometimes I find it just infuriating trying to figure out how to cut my bread, and I have found over the years a few little tips and tricks. So the first one is don't slice hot bread. This is cold bread. I made this bread the other day, popped it in the freezer once it had cooled down, and now it'll slice beautifully. Hot bread straight out of the oven is going to be flippy, floppy, fally aparty. You know, they're not really words, but you know what I mean. It just doesn't really work half as well as cold bread. So number one, I definitely recommend that you use cold bread when you're slicing. But the temperature of your bread aside, I wanted to show you 4 different ways to slice bread, and particularly how to get even slices. I, for a number of years, used a hand slicer. That is not the word, a bread knife. And I wanted to show you how to use a bread knife. All right, so you pretty much have to decide how thick you do or don't want your slices to be. We tend to go medium because we like to have sandwiches made out of the bread as well. So your aim when you're doing slicing with a bread knife is you want to make sure you're slicing the same width on the front as the back. Otherwise you'll end up with sort of this triangular shape and it's just a bit weird. So I don't know how I'm doing, I'll see in a minute. I tend to push it forward with my finger, make sure it's even, and then go ahead. I tilt the knife down a little bit away from myself, and I think I'm doing all right. All right, so they're relatively even, but as you can see, this one's a little skinnier and this one's a little bigger, and you tend to find that that's what happens when you use a bread knife. But I have another little contraption that I actually have never used before, but I thought we'd give it a go on the show today, a special bread slicer measurer. I don't actually know the name of this. It actually has no name on the box. So anyway, let's give it a try and see if it helps to make our slices any easier. Righto, here it is. As I said, true to my word, not a single word on this box. So when you're on Amazon or wherever you're buying your eBay, just type in bread slicer doobly lackey and voila, you'll get this. All right, I've never even seen this before. So here you are, hello, just opens out like this. From the pictures, which is all there is on the box, I'm guessing that I put my bread in like this, and on the side you can see there's actually holes. These are all holes, and they have twin holes on the other side. So I'm going to shove my bread knife in there and see how we go. I don't really know how thick it's going to make it. So, wow, that's really thick bread. All right, so this is for a thickly sliced toast. Oh, that didn't really work.
No, because it was uneven first. It started off.
Oh, okay. Yes, I had been slicing unevenly, so it's not the bread slicer's problem, it's my problem. All right, let's try again. Ooh, my bread slicing knife's a bit thick. All right, I'm sort of having to hold the back and the front at the same time. It's a bit awkward. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Still a little bit funny. I think it's probably still my fault, but it's a little bit weird. I've never done this before. It's pretty thick. We'll try one more time. It's just a bit grippy. I don't really know how to hold my bread still. Maybe I'll just hold it like that. Here we go. Okay. That one felt better. I think I'm getting the hang of it. There we are. That's more even. I like that. So this, I would recommend this slicer is if you want to have the thick cafe toast with your, you know, Caro or herb tea in the morning. So I'd recommend this for thick pieces of toast. If you're having a monster sandwich, man, you would, that's a lot of bread. I don't know. You might find it a bit much. I'll try one more time, and then I'm going to show you another way to slice your bread. I feel it's getting easier as I'm doing it, but it is a strange feeling in there. Yep, that one sliced really well as well. So we're talking about consistency, guys. This definitely gets a consistently thick slice. And along the edges there are other, like, I don't know why you would ever want to, here, we'll cut it here. I will show you how thick it can go. I don't know who would want a piece of toast this thick, but hey, maybe you just Maybe you just lack thick toast. So for those of you who like thick piece of toast, you can even do a really thick one. Or, yeah, different slices within that. That is a monster. All right, let's leave that one. Now we'll go to my next slicer, an electric knife. Okay, electric knives are always something that I associated with Christmas dinner or roast lamb, and as a vegan, I don't roast lambs, and yeah, so it's not really my thing. But my husband, a few years back, had to cut some foam to go into a suitcase to hold a drone, and anyway, big story, long story short. Anyway, the recommendation if you didn't have a proper foam cutter was to buy an electric knife, and it worked really well. And we don't like throwing things away. If we have to buy it, we want to figure out another way to use it, and so for a while I ended up using an electric knife with my bread. I found initially I thought it was a bit posh, electric knife, but it actually works surprisingly well, and feel kind of powerful using it. It's good fun. They are sharp, don't be silly, obviously. I'll show you with our slicer, ᴅɪsᴄᴏᴜᴜ, since it has no name on the box, and then I'll show you by freehand as well. So I don't know if it's going to fit, because this is really thick. It doesn't fit, so I can't use that. Sorry, bed slicer. All right, it has these little knobs here so the holes are double knifed together. So anyway, all you do is you are just going to gently put your knife on top of your bread, push the grrrng button, and then it doesn't even need, you don't even have to slice. You just hold it and just gently let it go, and it will just fall down. So observe. Now, it sounds like you're cutting down a tree, but it gets a really nice piece of toast or bread to go into the toaster to become toast. Let's try again, see if I can be more consistent. Again. So yes, a little bit thick on the bottom, but it's a really fast way to do the loaf of bread. So I'm going to do this the last bit of this loaf as quickly as I can, carefully, and just to show you the speed. Okay, so pretty good job at being consistent until this little wafer thin one at the end, but until then, not too bad. So you can get the hang of it, guys. Once again, though, they're a little thick. I would find that too thick for toast. It's not quite as thick as this one, so you're on a winner. In Australia, these retail for around 20 bucks, so yeah, they're quite cheap. So anyway, that might be a fun thing, if you've got to buy a present for someone who's got everything, hey, buy them an electric knife for their bread making. All right, that loaf's done. We better get on to our final bread slicing appliance. And here it is, the electric bread slicer, not to be confused with the manual bread slicer or the electric knife slicer. This is my favorite. I love it. This is one of those machines that I put off buying for years because they are expensive. I think it was over $100 to buy this machine, maybe even $200, I can't remember. But it was expensive compared to buying a $20 bread knife or, a $20 electric knife. But you can get perfect slices every single time. And it is so easy to use. My 11-year-old is my official bread slicer girl. You can see some of her videos here. I'll put a little card up there. It is really easy to use. It has a safety switch, so if you've got a little baby and they're mucking around and they're pushing buttons, which they shouldn't be anywhere near this machine, but they can't start it. There's no way to start this machine, usually. But you have to actually push down the on button and the safety button at the same time, otherwise you can't get your blade to rotate. For those of you who are curious to know if this has any other applications, if you are making your own gluten steaks and things like that and you want to make a big roll of it to make your own vegan luncheon meat, you can slice things like vegan meats in this as well. So it's not limited to only your bread. All right, so I don't like my bread crazy thick, as I've mentioned earlier. So for me, with this particular brand, I put on 16.5. I don't know what that specifically means, whether it's millimeters or what, but it is a size that suits us. This little contraption is for when you get to the end of your loaf and you're pushing it into this. I'll just show you anyway. All right, this catches the crumbs. Anything else I need to say? No, I think we're good. So you have to push your safety switch forward and then on with your button. Hold your bread still, don't slice your fingers, and push gently forward with this little moving tray. Righto, let's do it. Make sure after you've done each slice that you push your loaf back in again so it's flat against this slicing wall, and then when your safety switch on, push down and then move forward. Don't rush it because you can tear your bread, especially if you're doing it fresh. You have to be really, really gentle with your bread. And as I said before, I don't recommend slicing hot bread. It's a bit of a disaster. So here we go again. And just have a look. Look at this. Oh, so lovely. Look at the sizes. It's perfect. It'll look like a store-bought one when I'm finished. I'll show you. Okay. As you can see, I now can fit almost, not quite, I can almost fit my contraption on the end. All right, you can have to move out of the way. Here we go. So all this does is it hooks on to the end. It actually has a little area in there that hooks on, and you can push your bread into the wall and not risk, you know, slicing your little fingies off. Now, I'm going to show you what happens when you get near to the end. Watch for it. Keep watching. It's going to make a liar out of me. Usually, my bread fell over. Okay. Usually what happens when you get down to about this much of your loaf left is it starts to spin around and around and around the blade like that. And it just doesn't want to slice because you can't get enough of a grip on this little tiny back bit because it's only gripping whatever the spikes are touching, and for that it's only a little tiny section here. So what I do is usually when it spins around on the blade, I flip it around, and you want to face the back end or the rear part of your sliced bread, well, not unsliced bread, the loaf. Face that bit towards your blade side and then slice it so that you have all of these little spiky bits pushing into, it just grips better. That's why. I can't even say the words. Anyway, so push it in backwards and then it won't spin around because usually it does, even though this time it didn't. Okay. Now, one thing you may find is, it didn't quite happen this time, but sometimes your very last piece is a bit bigger than you want it to be, but not small enough to be sliced into, say, 3 pieces. So I tend to find the last one, I either choose to just accept that it's going to be fatter than the rest, but my kids love super, super skinny bread because when you toast it, it goes really crispy. So I just look at the bread and work out roughly what it'd be half and just move the little dial on the side to get your sizing. And then I just make super, super skinny bread for the last piece. And so they end up with these fun little super skinny bits that they really enjoy. So, as you can see, guys, I did that loaf so much faster than, like, you can turn your loaf from 3 minutes down to 30 seconds, and I tend to cook 3 loaves at once, and it just saves a lot of time. Yes, it's chunky, it takes up a bit of space in the cupboard or on a shelf, but this will last for years and years and years. I love the fact that my kids are now old enough to be able to do it as well, to slice on their own. I cook three loaves at once, and so for me, I just want to get them sliced, done, in a packet, back in the freezer, and I'm finished. And I like the fact that they are all shaped. They're all, you know, the same size, and it means that when you're eating a sandwich, you're not eating this tiny little bit and this really big fat bit, and, you know, so it's just, yeah, all around better. Make sure though you're not going to put this into the sink and cover it with water. I would think that'd be pretty obvious, but it is electrical, so don't put water on this machine. If you do use it to slice things like your gluten loaf or whatever to make your vegan meats, Just use a little tiny bit of soapy water on a cloth and only clean the blade where the blade is messy, and then dry it off with a cloth. When you're doing bread, you don't need any water at all, and I use a dry tea towel just to get into the cracks and get out all of the little bits of crumbs and things. And so it's very easy to clean it up, which is great. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out our how to make your own bread at home video. I did that one with the kids and they were very cute and funny. And we have plenty more videos coming for you guys this year. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell to be notified when a new video gets released. Share the video with your friends. Please leave a comment as well. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.